Harlem School Board members vote to consolidate 2 elementary schools and in a 4-3 decision approve a neighborhood schools option. WIFR's Miriam Niesmeyer attended the meeting and talks with the district leaders, teachers, and parents about what the vote means to them.
Daniel, District President Michael Sterling had the tie-breaking vote. This decision will close Maple and Olson elementary schools at the end of this school year, a move that parents and teachers say is disappointing.
At this time, I'm going to vote for 1.
At the start of the Harlem School Board meeting, board members voted 4-3 to move forward with option 1, the neighborhood schools model.
We have 2 schools closed down, a ton of students that are going to be heartbroken. My own daughter's heartbroken.
One parent worries for the district's future.
What kind of assurance do we have going forward that they're not going to close something else just because it might be running a little bit behind?
Superintendent Terrell Yarbrough says staffing cuts could be at most from 60 to 70 people.
We hope that, most of the staffing reductions is through attrition, and retirement and things like that. But we also know that that's not going to be the case. And so we will have to look at the buildings, look at, how the staffing is going to equal out, the students, who's going to need to go where.
I've taught at Olson Park for 25 years. I had planned on finishing my career at Olson Park. It's a family.
Elena Schelling-Tufte, president of the Harlem Federation of Teachers and educator at Olson Park, says she's disappointed but understands why the school went through with the decision.
We have to make changes in Harlem financially, and the changes need to happen because it affects everybody who works in Harlem, but also the students in Harlem too.
Schelling-Tufte says Harlem School District is underfunded and urges lawmakers in Springfield to fully fund public schools.
We will continue to see school closures. They are all over, not just the state, but all over the country, between the decline in the birth rate in the United States, but also how public education is funded in our country.
District leaders say this will address a $3.1 million budget deficit. The district will immediately begin planning for staffing and student placement.
Dr. Yarbrough says the district is still trying to figure out how to expand early childhood education.